So a very, very warm welcome to the Foundations of Play Moodle course. I don't even know where to begin. Play. It's the essence of childhood. Play is a behaviour. Play is a way of life. Play is a way to explore. Play is a way to exist. One of the things that we'll do on this course is identify what's the difference between when children are playing and when they're not playing. Is there a difference? What is play actually? How do we define play? Is there such a thing as good play and bad play? Does play have meaning? Is there any point to play? Does play have different stages? Is play associated with age groups? Is play gendered? Does play have gender orientation? Is play something that only children do? Is play learning? Is play something that children do when they're not learning? Is play something that just happens in between? How can you recognize play? How do you know when children are playing? The idea of play and the concept of play is huge. And in this course, we're going to start to unpack some of what play is. Sadly, in such a small course, we are not going to even touch the sides. We're definitely not going to answer all of those questions that I've just posed. You have to think about this. People do PhDs in play. This is an entry-level course for 3-4 hours on introduction, foundations of play, where we start to think what play is and what it can mean. There is no way that we can answer all of these things, but we will look at some theory, we will look at framework, we will start to answer some of those questions. And hopefully you will take some of my passion for play and start to understand that when you're working with children in an early years setting, children don't just play. It is the most important thing that they will do while they're in your early years provision, if not one of the most important things that they will do in life. What we're not going to explore on this course is the play cycle. We're not going to look at play cues, how children cue other people to come and play with them. We're not going to look at how adults destroy children's play and annihilate play. We'll save all that for another time. We're going to look at some more basic concepts. So we've split this course into 4 sections. The first section we've called an introduction to play. And 1.1, section 1.1 is all about defining play. We look at what we believe play is, how we can create meaning from this word play, and we look at how people that are much, much greater than us, theorists and psychologists and big people in early years and big people in play, how did they define play and what did they say it is and what did they say it isn't as well. So that's essentially what section 1.1 will do, is to try and help us come to a common definition of play so we understand what it is and how we know when children are playing. What does that look like? That's all part of defining what is play. And I wonder if there's anything that children do that's not play or playful. Section 1.2 goes on really to start to explore children's right to play. I mean, children's right to play is enshrined in the UN Conventions on the Rights of a Child. Article 31 sets out that every child has the right to play. And why is that? Why is that important? Why is it so important that it's one of the UN conventions on the rights of the, one of the articles of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child? And as part of that, we start to look at unstructured play and free play, which is the essence of play. It's free play. When children are in control of their own play behavior. They play for their own reasons, in their own way. They follow their own ideas. And even children very, very, very young, just a few months old, are playing and have the opportunity to explore and follow their own play ideas. Section 1.3, we really look at how do children, through their play, make sense of the world. How do children, through play, process and make sense of the world? And I'm going to tell you right now, right up front, I don't believe you can have any subjects that are taboo or forbidden in play. And what sometimes makes early years practitioners very, very uncomfortable is children's war and weapon play. And you've probably heard, if you've worked any period of time in early years, you've probably heard people saying, early years practitioners saying, oh, we don't play with guns here. Well, I always say, why not? Play is how and where children make sense of the world. They process the things they see around them. They process the things that they absorb from society, from home, from the street, from the television. And those things manifest in their play, and sometimes very repetitive play behaviors. And that's because they are making sense of the world. And if we have situations where we ban certain plays, what that leads to is taboos, where children are not able to really explore and make sense of and process what's going on around them in the world. So war and weapon play is also something that's very gendered as well. Tends to be boys and a masculine gender construct that has a particular interest in war and weapon play. And this is something that is often in early years barred or not allowed. And I want us to stop for a few minutes and think about what the implications of banning such play scripts might be for children and for masculine gender constructs. Whereas more feminine types of play we don't tend to ban, and we tend to support and encourage caring, playing in the role play area, etc., etc. So that's just some food for thought. At this stage, there's no rights or wrongs, and what we're doing is just exploring how children make sense of the world around them through their play. That's section 1. It's action-packed, right? This is play after all. Section 2, we're going to go on and look at the importance of play. And I've broken that into 2 sections. The first section, 2.1, looks at the different stages of play, from unoccupied play, solitary play, onlooker play, parallel play, associative play, and cooperative play. What are those different stages of play? How do you know when children are in those different stages? How can you recognize them? How can you support those different stages of play? And that is something when we're thinking about play in the early years, and by early years I'm talking 0 to 5, 0 to 6, we need to have an awareness of the different stages of play. And of course there are more than one theory. In this course we've presented 2 theories on different stages of play and what they look like. We've included some case studies, some fun sorting games where you can sort play into different stages. So that's super exciting. The second part of section 2 really focuses on play and child development, and how play is essential for child development. Children develop through play, cognitively, physically, emotionally. They develop their personal and social skills. All of this really essentially happens through play. Play is an incredibly powerful tool and drives child development. And in that section, what I'm trying to do is help you establish the links between play and child development. That's section 2. In section 3, we start to think about how to create supportive play environments. And there's 2 things that we're looking at. One, which is 3.1, is the importance of risk in children's play. Why it is so essential that play includes risk. Play supports children, encourages children, provides opportunities for children to take risks in their play. What do risks look like? What's an acceptable risk? What's not an acceptable risk? When should adults rush in to save the day? When should they stand back to observe? And that brings us on really to the second part of creating a supportive play environment, which is about the adult's role in children's play. When we support play, and let's think about this specifically in an early years context, what is our role? Do we stand back and watch? Do we get involved? Do we lead? Do we take a back seat? Do we just respond to children's play cues? Is it a mix of all of those? How do we navigate that very complicated balance of supporting children to be in control of their own play and play in the ways that they want to, with our role as an early years practitioner, educator, to support, to challenge, to present new ideas? See, what is our role and how do we navigate and negotiate that role while children are playing? All very interesting questions. And I'm not sure the course is going to deliver all the answers, but what it will do is start to get you thinking about really what a complicated matter play actually is and how many things there are to consider and think about. There's one more section, which is section 4, and this is really about how can we as early years practitioners think about implementing a rich play environment, an environment that is rich with play. How do we do that? So we start off by taking a journey into a kind of theoretical framework of different types of play or different play types. We look at typographies of play. We look at Hughes's typography of play and some others as well. And we explore the difference between dramatic play, symbolic play, block play, for example. And then as part of 4.1, we think about if these are the play types and the typographies of different play, what materials do we need? How do we furnish a play environment? Should a play environment be full of brightly coloured Fisher-Price plastic play materials or something else? And if it's something else, what is that something else? We also have another course on heuristic play, which if play is interesting for you, we would recommend that when you're thinking about play types and play materials, that you consider doing this other course on heuristic play. And then finally, 4.2, we look at how to design an effective play space in early years. How do you create play space that supports different areas of development, that reflects different play types, and how does that change with different age groups? The way that you set up a play environment in a baby unit would be very, very different to how you set up play in a reception class or a Gan Chova class or working with 5 and 6 year olds. So what are the essentials to create an effective play environment? How can you create and designate different play spaces, and do you need to do that? That's it. There's lots of posting on forums, there's boards. You get a chance to take pictures even of some play that you and your children have been involved in and get to add that to the course. There's many videos to watch. There's things from outside the course, from on the internet, where you can go and read specific articles that we've sent you to. There's about 1 million quizzes to do in this course. And then, of course, right at the end, there's the course completion form. Let us know how long you spent on the course, and definitely let us know what you learned. And once we've received that, then we can confirm your achievement for this Foundations of Play course. I hope it's everything you dream of and more. I want to manage your expectations now by saying it's not going to answer all of the questions that I posed at the very beginning of this video, but it will start to help you think and shift your perception of children's play, and hopefully provide you with some hooks just to think about the complexity of play and how we navigate and negotiate play when we're working with children. Thank you, and enjoy the course. It is really an area of passion for me, and I'm sure I designed most of this course, so I'm sure you're going to see that coming through in the amount that I've tried to cram in. Enjoy it.